Welcome everyone. We are here with children's book author Heather R. Pope and her illustrator Valerie Hawks. And today we'll be discussing Heather and Valerie's first children's book, Mia and the Lemonade Solution. So Heather, writing this book, you were juggling life, 3 kids, a full-time job, along with writing the book. And how did you manage to do this and have such energy to make it happen?
Yeah, so thinking back, I'm really surprised that I was able to pull this off. But I think really what probably helped was that in the idea generation phase and getting things down on paper, my 5-year-old daughter at the time actually helped me with a lot of the story development.
So Mia, the main character, is she a portrayal of your daughter?
So Mia is definitely, she has some features of my daughter with her personality, but she has a whole personality of her own as well. I used my daughter as a base, though, to kind of help develop Mia because I really wanted the main character to be someone that other girls could relate to.
As I read through the book, I just fell in love with all the characters. In part of talking about the other characters is the brother, the mom and dad, grandma. Are they based off anyone real in your life?
I'm really glad you enjoyed the characters. I spent a lot of time thinking about each individual character and how they really shape the person and character of Mia. So Mason, he's actually based off of my son, my second child. And right now my son's really fascinated with superheroes and dressing up. So that kind of was the base for Mason. And actually the teacher in this story, one of the customers at the lemonade stand, was based off of Mrs. Potter. She was based off of my daughter's former kindergarten teacher. When I developed that character, I wanted it to, when the customer came up to the lemonade stand, I wanted her to have a reaction that would be really meaningful for Mia.
So, as we're speaking about the characters, the illustrations are absolutely remarkable. Valerie, you did a great job. They're detailing and eye-catching. So what made you choose Valerie as your illustrator?
Yeah, so as I was working on my manuscript, I got to the end, and I felt like I had it together, and then I spent a few weeks, thinking about, okay, what are my options for my illustrator, or, for the illustrations in general. So I've known Valerie for a few years. She was actually my son's 2-year-old preschool teacher, one of my Facebook friends also, and I saw her post a picture of a portrait that she had drawn of her oldest daughter, and I was just, it just came to me like she should be my illustrator. The portrait was, it just showed off her talent and creativity, so I knew then that I definitely had to ask her if she was interested. And I asked her to bring her portrait today to show us as well.
Yes. Oh. I do have it right here. This is my portrait of my daughter Annabelle, and it's in a transitional phase right now. It's not in its final form. I'm working on the detail layer at this point, but I figured she was good enough to show at least now.
Oh, well, can you tell us about your artwork in general?
Yes, I do a lot of abstract art or abstract realism, working a lot with portrait paintings and also animals.
So, was this the first book that you ever illustrated?
No, actually, as an adult, yes, but as a child, I used to put together books by stapling the spine, and I wrote them and illustrated them myself, probably hundreds of them, and this was a great way to get back in touch with that hobby from childhood.
Mm-hmm. And so, out of all the really good illustrations in the book, what has to be your favorite?
My personal favorite is this one, which shows Mason standing at the door with Mia rolling her eyes at him, and he's got his tool belt on and his superhero outfit, and he just really could not care less what Mia thinks of him. And I loved this one because it encapsulates your son, who I've gotten very fond of through teaching him, and it was nice to give him a little spotlight in the book.
And so what had to be the most challenging part of doing illustrations?
Well, it was actually, I would say, probably trying to figure out what she was seeing in her head and what I was seeing in my head and making the twain shall meet. It was very rewarding at the same time, though, when I would finally get it on paper and she would be so excited, and that was just the greatest feeling.
So, after you put all your hard work as a team into this book, what does it feel like to just hold this book in your hand and say, look, I did this, I made this happen?
Surreal. Very surreal.
I agree. That's the best word to describe it.
So, is there any future projects between you two in the future?
Well, I haven't started jotting anything down yet, but I have some ideas up my sleeve for some future Mia and Mason adventures. Maybe even perhaps a series. Who knows?
Well, we are definitely glad that you got to share some of, what it took to make this book happen. If you would like to support Heather and Valerie on their book journey, you can find the book on Amazon at Mia and the Lemonade Solution. It retails for $6.99, or you can also follow Heather's Facebook page at Heather R. Pope.